My first position, after my PGDE, I was a net teacher. And this is a unique position for English teachers because you're not necessarily a classroom teacher, but you're a person who supports classroom teachers. And this was a very weird place to start, where you have teachers who are more experienced than you and you're advising them. So needless to say, there were lots of difficulties, and I think this was not the correct place to start for me. And what I realized was that as a person who was there to provide resources and a support for classroom teachers, and I didn't, hadn't had the experience in the classroom myself to kind of figure out, how I wanted to, or what my style of teaching was, and to try things and see if, they worked or didn't work. I just didn't have enough experience to help support other people. So what I did after finishing the contract there was I moved to a school that was an EMI school, and there I became a classroom teacher for primary, and that's almost like, that was kind of like my second second job, but in many ways as a classroom teacher it was my first. So that was like the main issue there. I think for most teachers, what we really fall into, and I think for primary less so than secondary, but when you're in your own classroom, you are kind of in a bubble, or I call it a silo. And you don't have a whole lot of exposure to new ideas, and if you don't have contact with other more experienced teachers, you feel like you're trying to create ideas in a closed system. Let's face it, people have been teaching for thousands of years. There's not a whole lot that's new. There's a lot of experience that you can gain from people who've walked that path. Why reinvent the wheel if you don't have to? And this is where I think you need to break out of that silo. And in secondary, because everybody has their own classroom for the most part, and everybody is teaching, their own class, and it's very, separate, it can be a lot more isolating and more difficult to collaborate and to get ideas from other people. So having a mentor or someone that you can just talk to in your school is one of the best ways that I've found to cope. Having somebody that you can just bounce ideas off of, somebody who thinks about their teaching, who's a reflective practitioner. Either they can be more experienced, or they can just be in the same, same cohort as you, that started in the same time, but at least you're sharing ideas. And if you have somebody that's talking about problems rather than things that they're wanting to do or try, or things, this is something to watch out for. You need somebody who's going to provide solutions and think about, okay, well, this didn't work out so well. Why didn't it work out so well? What am I going to do next time? And you have somebody to bounce your ideas off of. And so I think that's kind of receiving support and coping. That's how you do it.